Namaste, this is Banu Suresh, your online yoga teacher. We are in segment 2 on how to use props. We talked about using the wall and the yoga mat. Today, we're going to talk about how to use the yoga belt and the foam blocks. We'll start with the belt. Use a 6-foot long belt. If you need a longer one, if you're very tall, I'm 5'2", so for me 6 foot long works. Use a 6-foot long belt to help optimize your body's capacity to take you deeper into certain stretches. For example, there is a posture called janu sirsa. Janu sirsa is where you have one leg extended. Janu is knee, sirsa is head. So I'm going to extend my right leg, fold my left foot in, attach the sole of the left foot to the inside of your upper right thigh. Use your belt, loop it over the ball of the right foot. Flex your right foot. Inhale, exhale. Notice how I'm walking my fingers closer and closer. Every little inch that I go forward could represent one day's practice. Drop the belt when you don't need it and keep going forward. If your head doesn't touch your knee today, that's all right. Just keep trying. It's all about the journey, not necessarily about the destination. So now, don't forget the other side. Extend the left leg out. Loop goes at the bottom of the left foot. Don't bend your knee. Don't compromise your posture. Just get there when you get there. There's no rush. Inhale, and let's bring the other leg out. Paschimothana. Paschim is east. Paschimothana, bird beak or east facing. Loop it over the balls of both feet. Somewhere in the top third. Inhale. Hinge from the hip and lead with the chest. Now for this one, aim is not to get your head to your knees, rather get it closer to your toes. And when you don't need the belt, hold on to your big toes. Pull yourself forward. Inhale, let's come up. And let's keep our feet right there. Paripoorna, full boat. I'm going to place the belt just below the balls of both the feet. And for this one, kind of shift. I'm going to bend my knees just a little bit. Paripoorna, or full boat, is a balanced position. You're balancing on your sacrum. Bend your knees, lift your legs up, and let me turn around a little bit to the side so you can see profile. Extend your legs. Now, if you're very comfortable and you're feeling very strong, today or whenever you feel strong, drop your belt, hold on with your hands. When you get even stronger, slowly come down. Now remember, your body is its own prop. Your body is actually the best prop you can ever use. So if you can use your hands, you can use parts of your body to prop yourself up, that's great. And that's okay. But when you need external props, just use them. But only as long as you really need them. So that's with the belts. Let's move on to the blocks. Now we have 4 postures we'd like to cover. Actually, there's one more posture I want to take you through. Gomukha, cow face. Now let me turn around for this one. This is where you get one elbow up and the other hand comes from behind to meet the opposite finger. So you're going to place the arm that goes up, the belt goes over that shoulder. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, dip your hands between the shoulder blades. Turn your right palm out, take it all the way behind you. And if my fingers are not going to touch them, then you use the belt. Lift your chin up and fold over. Now, slowly, as you get stronger, just wiggle your hands, your fingers closer and closer till you're ready to let go of the belt. I'm going to let go, and we're touching right there. Let's try with the belt on the other side. So we're going to place the belt over the right shoulder. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, Dip your right palm between your shoulder blades at the base of the neck, just below the base of the neck. Take your left hand from behind, and this hand cooperates, this side cooperates a little more for me, but for the sake of this segment, we're going to say it doesn't, my fingers don't touch, so I'm going to let go and hold on to the belt. Inhale, let's come up. Slowly work your way up, and when you don't need the belt, let it go. Let it go. Remember, that's been my mantra for a very long time. Let it go. If you don't need props, let it go. Now, we're going to set this belt aside. We're going to work with foam blocks. I typically use blocks that are about 3 inches deep. Now, this side and this side, they're standard. I believe that's, I'm not sure, about 8 by 6, but this can be 3, 2, or 4 inches. I take middle of the road always. For this one, I'm going to stand up. I like my crutches today. Let's stand up, and let's bring the block somewhere there. Prasarita padottana. So bring your legs out, about 3 to 4 feet to start off. Put your brakes on. Inhale the arms up. Prasarita padottana, prasarita, widespread, padottana, pad is foot, head from Greek, Latin, wherever the origin of languages is. I believe it's Sanskrit, but you have ped in Latin, so there you go. Languages have their own common threads. So I'm going to place my palms down. Now for today, let's say my head is not going to touch the ground. I'm going to place it at the highest orientation. Exhale. Rest your forehead there. So if you have any blood pressure issues, you really don't want to go too deep. You want to make the connection with the earth, so make sure you rest on something. As you get stronger and more flexible, keep going lower and lower. And then when you don't need your blocks anymore, let's go down all the way. Press into the floor, heel toe your feet together, and let's come up. Now maha mudra is a posture. It's basically the whole body folds over, but we're going to attempt to touch the forehead to the ground. It may or may not happen right away. So turn both your palms out, take them behind you. Hold on to the opposite elbows. So I'm going to place this right here in front of me. Fold over, hinge from the hip. Now I'm going to bring it a little bit closer right there. That feels good. Now remember, no pain, no gain. So just make that little extra effort every single time that you practice. Bring it to the second point. And as you get stronger, to the lowest point. And once you've got rid of that 12 pack, as I have, once you've got rid of that, you probably don't need the block. Inhale, let's come up. And let's see where we are next. Kapota asana. I love this position, this posture. Kapota is pigeon. So we're going to use this at the highest point, as we typically do. Fold your left knee in. Take the right leg all the way back. So let's come forward a little bit so you can see. Pigeon, so you want to place your blocks just around where your left knee is. Open up your chest. Notice how my hip is at least 4 to 6 inches off of the ground. That's because I'm at the highest point. Now, as you get stronger, bring it to midpoint. And you can start going deeper, closer to the earth, to the mat. Notice we are progressively getting better. If you don't need them, set them aside. Don't throw your props away, because there may be days when you could really use a little bit of extra help, just set them aside. Let's switch. See if we can come out gracefully. And let's take the other leg back. I'm going to take this leg all the way back. Start at the highest point with my hips about 6 inches off, at least. Lead with the chest, keep your chest open, shoulders back. And then when you don't need the blocks, there was a time when this used to be my favorite posture. I loved it because it felt so good once I went all the way down. I could go to sleep in this position. So, baddha kona. Baddha kona is the cobbler position. Baddha is bound, kona is kona. It's really cobbler position but bound angle. So literally cobblers in India, the traditional ones, they have this big metal nail in front of, between the soles of their feet, and then they place your footwear on it and start hammering away like crazy. So for baddha kona, I'm very comfortable taking my heels all the way back, but sometimes it makes it a little difficult. So we start right there a little bit. Bring your feet forward just a little. Place the bricks. If your knees are really sore, honestly, this is too much of an exaggeration. It's too much, but if it helps you rest, let's relax. Try and bring it down a little more. Midpoint. Now this one's okay. I think sometimes this is also called the butterfly, when you want to get the lymph fluids moving. You want to flap around a little bit. Come down to the lowest point, and when you think you are ready to bring your heels very close to your groin, you really may not even need that, but I'm just going to place it at the edge, right where my knees are. Another posture that I like very much because it's such a delicious stretch. It makes me feel wonderful. Inhale, and when you don't need it, absolutely do not need it anymore. Hold on. Bring your heels really close. Bring your knees down. Notice how my elbows are going out to the sides. Let's meet in the third segment for 2 more props. One of them you may not even be familiar with, but we're going to learn how to use it. I'm learning with you. Namaste.